The Eagles haven't looked anything like a playoff team of late, having lost 5 of their last 6. Philly gets blown out by the Giants. Both A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have injuries from the game. Plus, it looks like they lost safety Sidney Brown as well. So the Eagles will take on the Bucs in Tampa next Monday. That's right here on ESPN. Shannon, here's what I want to know. Are the Eagles in danger of losing to this Tampa Bay Bucs team?
Absolutely, because they've had issues all year long. And I tried to highlight and pinpoint those issues, but the Philly fans told me I was hating. Said I was jealous. I didn't like Jalen Hurts, even though I saw things with this offense that I didn't see last year that made us get our hands around this offense. They could run the football. Jalen Hurts seemingly made all the plays. And this year, now they go into the game, Jalen Hurts dislocated a finger on his throwing hand. A.J. Brown left this game with an injury. Devontae Smith left this game with an injury. They don't run the football. The offensive line is not as violent as it once was, and the defense has been atrocious. Because what's happening is that when you can't create turnovers and you're turning the ball over, that's why the Giants jumped out to a 24-0 lead. And I knew this was going to happen. But when you accept things and wins that you shouldn't do, never would in a loss, it's going to come back to bite you, because when they say a winning cures a lot and it masks a lot, it does. Because, we won the game, but you don't address the issues that's causing you to look like you look. And the thing that the untrained eye can't see that the trained eye can, is that you can see where this thing was heading with the Eagles. They absolutely have a chance because Baker is playing well. They have a guy in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin that can make plays, and we know the Eagles' defense isn't very good, especially against the pass, and they have a defense that can get after you, led by Devontae David and Devin White.
They're accountable, the Eagles, I totally agree with Shannon, they're accountable from the top on down.
Yeah.
You have a situation where you've lost both coordinators, all right, to Arizona and Indianapolis respectively. Their head coaches there now. Then you've got a situation where you lost Gardner Johnson and others in your secondary. So you've had secondary issues that haven't been addressed all season long. And then along the way, how the hell do you draft this guy Carter out of Georgia and you seem worse defensively? You seem worse getting to the passer. Obviously, you're worse in your secondary. You look at it from that perspective, and then offensively, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith didn't go anywhere. You've got a decent running game as well. How do you have you had these problems? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then, to make it even worse, you brought in Matt Patricia to help you on the defensive side. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, listen, I understand the man once did a good job in New England, but when he went to Detroit, it's like he forgot what it was to coach football, for crying out loud. And then you go back to Philadelphia, and you're looking for him to alleviate or to fix problems that exist. And they've been all over the place throughout the season. And Howie Roseman, obviously an exceptional executive, make no mistake about it. This clearly was not his finest year. They've dropped the ball on a number of issues, and you got to look at it from the top on down. And that's even before you address their health issues.
Let me ask you this. What coach hasn't looked good in New England with Coach Belichick? And when they go outside of that New England, how do they look?
That's right.
So it's not just Matt Patricia, but look at Jalen Hurts.
Well, they'll say Bill O'Brien in Houston for a little while. They'll say that, but that's about it.
Philly is 1-5 in the skid. Jalen Hurts has thrown as many interceptions, 5, as touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now,
Shannon, what do you make of his play?
I believe he's hurt, but that's no excuse. There's a lot of guys that's been hurt. But let me tell you what Philly fans are thinking, and a lot of people are thinking, even though they won't say it.
Okay.
We hope we hadn't run into a Carson Wentz situation. A guy that has an exceptional season, parlays that into a big-time contract, and then boom.
Right.
Because you look at Dak had these same numbers with 5 games, missing 5 games, as Jalen Hurts has right now. And I told you guys, I said he's turning the ball over too much. Oh, but we winning. Okay. Now, what happens when he's turning the ball over and you don't win? Now you want to place blame on him. Well, you should have been placing blame saying, Jalen, we can't keep turning the ball over like this if we expect to have the success that we're looking to have long term. They have an issue. You know what? As a matter of fact, if we had to pick this game today, I would take the Bucs at home to beat the Eagles.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't take the Bucs in Philly.
What do you think of Jalen, the drop-off this year? Are you concerned by it?
I'm concerned by it, but I attribute most of it to health issues because I think that when he's healthy, he can run with the football so exceptionally well that makes him an elite dual threat, which would cut down on some of the mistakes he's made simply throwing the football. And because they know that he's gimpy, that he hasn't been healthy, and he can't run the football the way we saw him do last season, obviously they're able to key on the pass more, and he was never an elite passer. We thought he became one because we saw the dual threat that he was. But when you just have to drop back because your running ability has been compromised, even to a slight degree, I think that's contributing contributed to what we've seen from him this year.
And a lot of time, especially with quarterbacks, when they're nicked from waist down, it changes their throwing mechanics. Now all of a sudden the ball sails on you or it dies. So let's see if he can get healthy, get those mechanics back that he had last year, in which he was almost the MVP, led a team to the Super Bowl. Like you said, it's 0-0 now. The playoffs are an entirely different animal. But I didn't like what I saw from the Eagles at the beginning of the season, and I like them even less headed down the stretch.